Hey guys, welcome to the first TNA News podcast featuring Sean Prem. I'm going to give my views and opinions on Impact London during my hectic day schedule. Hi, I'm Sean Prem, and I'd like to say first and foremost thank you very much to Alex Barry and Rick Santos for regulating TNA News to be able to deliver the news and content that it does, and for especially Alex for beginning this fantastic project. Today, I'm during my schedule throughout today, I'm going to be talking about the Impact London event. What else can we say? That it was fantastic. It was able to deliver high caliber quality content that you wouldn't really expect from a UK tour event aside from TNA, and that's a bit of a topic that you need to comprehend, because even if TNA is not regarded as the best company, it doesn't matter because it's a company for the wrestling fans. And this is why I like to be part of TNA News, because TNA News enables real wrestling fans that need the alternative to be able to talk. So it might get a bit louder. So anyway, back to the topic. The main event has to be spoken of after the heated confrontation of Bobby Roode and MVP from the previous week. It was officially announced that it would be Bobby Roode versus MVP, and with Austin Aries still deciding which team to go for, he showed his true colours after being a guest referee. And that was quite intense indeed, because they did have a good history. Well, I'm not really aware of the history if I'm being honest, but MVP, how he got decked by Austin Aries, that was truly controversial. And I'm telling you, the following impact that you will see will help to continue the hype of that. Because, and that was in between a very good match where it looked like MVP was about to be one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now. Whether if you're a WWE fan or a TNA fan, you cannot deny that. He is that good, Bobby Roode. And then that wasn't the only event. We actually had a very good knockouts match. Please, divas of WWE, watch and learn, although AJ is really good. And in addition to that, we saw that crazy bastard Sam do another insane thing. He made Christy a bit upset, and then he took out Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson got taught a big lesson, because he's actually a really good wrestler, as we saw, and he's a creative genius, I should say. And since he's a creative genius, like with Bully Ray, it can steal the show at Lockdown, him and Sam Shaw, because they are both the guys that just do whatever the hell they want. And then that comes and brings me to Kurt Angle's induction, Hall of Fame induction. Even though EC3 disturbed it, it was an honour that he chose London for this event. And that shows again TNA able to comprehend what the fans actually want. That is an extraordinary ability, because you have to see the other companies, they don't give the shows nearly as good and nearly as high as that. As you can see, I'm probably not following a script, because I thought, as a TNA News is for real wrestling fans, it's just real wrestling fans speaking from their views and opinions, and they were just trying to give a perspective of how the show was like, and just to appreciate TNA for being around despite all the odds and people having such harsh criticisms against them. And you can say that TNA News and TNA, they should be very appreciative of what they're able to do, because even though the TNA event was last month, Kurt Angle, after his Hall of Fame, was able to feature at some UK shows to promote his Hall of Fame event. And I got one of the clips of one of the popular shows of the number one sport in the country, football, or soccer for you Americans, called Soccer AM. Check it out just now.
Tiny Tony, hello, proper model, oi! Away end, not really, I'm in a random place in London, nowhere near the away end. You'll see why in a minute. I know what time it is, you know what time it is. This legendary figure needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce you anyway. This is incredibly the one, the only Kurt Angle, one of the most impressive wrestlers ever, former WWE, former WWF champion. Also, he's won a gold medal, an Olympic gold medal in wrestling, the only ever Olympic gold medalist ever to get into wrestling. Check this out, he actually genuinely won an Olympic gold medal with a broken neck when he won his Olympic gold medal, which isn't actually surprising when you look at your neck. I'm not being rude, but you have got a massive, gigantic neck. He's now going TNA tour all around the country. Check it out. It's really good. He's in the TNA Hall of Fame. You might be thinking, what's he got to do with QPR? He's got nothing to do with QPR. For the purpose of listening, Kurt Angle's a massive Queen's Park Rangers fan.
Go Harry!
Thanks, Kurt. Fair to say that I'm a hockey, he's a hockey, probably that you could beat me in a fight. Fair to say you could probably beat me up in a fight, couldn't you, Kurt?
Yes!
He promised raise the bar as the first ever guy standing inside the way and telling me you him no, looking really bizarrely at me, telling me that he knows what time it is!
Time to keep my nut down!
Ooh! Keep pushing! Ah! Over 18,000 fans under one roof!
I think that is quite funny by Kurt Angle because he's actually following the tradition of the show Soccer AM with a guy called Frankie Fire by doing that funny gesture at the end. It's a good show. It's actually, on this show, it's just such a good perspective of Kurt Angle trying to relate with the fans, and it just makes you wonder, as Kurt Angle, he is perhaps the greatest wrestler there's ever been, and for him to have his Hall of Fame in London is just the biggest appreciation you can have. Kurt Angle, he's fought all of them. He's fought The Undertaker, he's fought Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the fact that he's been appreciated in London. That's just an extraordinary thing. But still, let's talk about the contents of the Impact London, because this is what this podcast is for. He actually is trying to help develop the future generation of EC3, and he's also interacting with the Bromans and all of these wrestlers. As I'm sure you guys know, if you read my articles, I am quite high on the Bromans in particular because they have helped redefine the tag team division, which was an ailing ship prior to them coming. So it's quite good that we're seeing all of these activities of TNA trying to now tackle the question as where the future stars are, and they're using Kurt Angle's historic career to help enhance the future stuff, like seeing that, for example, EC3 against Kurt Angle, and also which is going to be in a cage announced. Can't wait. That probably could also steal the show, along with the other good match of Mr. Anderson versus Sam Shaw, because both of these guys, they're the guys with 10-10-10 storyline who main evented that pay-per-view along with the Willow, the worst storyline by the way. So you've got Kurt Angle and Mr. Anderson, two big names fighting two relatively youngsters who can go on to anything if TNA believe in them, and that's what needs to be appreciated for them. And you've got to appreciate TNA trying to attempt this and giving people a chance. And that's one of the things I have to appreciate the whole Impact London event of last week. So like the event of last week, sorry about that, crossing, see, look left and right when you cross, guys. So that's why you have to appreciate the Impact London event, because they didn't only focus on the main situation of Magnus versus Samoa Joe, which started the show. It also focused on the big event where whoever wins takes over the company, which was Team Root versus Team MVP. And then it focused on the future versus the current and past superstars. So overall, last week was good, and I'm guaranteeing you that this week will be good as well. It'll be I guarantee you, I should say. Pardon my English. This is not scripted, by the way, guys. Please don't judge me upon that. I'm just giving my views during my busy day. And you just have to appreciate that, because it was just an awesome event. And the fact that the Wolves, I am upset that they beat the Bromans, but they are actually quite fantastic. Let's not deny that. So we're just talking about why Kurt Angle has chose London rather than Bound for Glory to have his Hall of Fame ceremony. During this podcast I'm doing, I thought I might as well show myself while travelling around London, central London, capital of the world. Not hard to understand why Angle chose this venue, and it actually solidifies why people say that the Impact Tour of the UK is perhaps bigger than Bound for Glory. The fact that perhaps the greatest wrestler that there's ever been, it might be CM Punk, but the greatest ever, a lot of people say Kurt Angle chose this venue, speaks volumes. And he's one of the few guys that has wrestled everyone. literally, he's wrestled the Attitude Era, the post-Attitude Era. He got sick and tired of Cena, and he's at TNA, and he's done a lot. And he's chose the UK tour, and I felt honoured being around there. And there's not much else you can say, because he even dedicated the Rolex he got to us guys, and that's just superb. At the end of the day, it shows TNA's commitment to the wrestling fans. And more, if people keep on trying to compare the WWE to TNA, you just can't, because I'd rather have the real wrestling fans dedicated to just watch the alternative. WWE is always going to be bigger. I keep on saying this in this podcast. However, you cannot disregard the talent. Yeah, like, you cannot hate or disregard the talent that TNA have, because the X Division, come on, that basically rebranded wrestling. This is what TNA is about. It's about being the alternative, and to cater for us wrestling fans that actually like the sport, not some little 5-year-old who likes Barney the Dinosaur, John Cena, or that ridiculous Abyss Brother character who's just terrible. I'm sorry, this is TNA News, I know, but that guy is probably the worst character I've ever seen. Now, talking about why I'm happy about the TNA coming to London and this whole Kurt Angle Hall of Fame. It is more, in the WWE perspective, that should be regarded only for the main WrestleMania or Bound for Glory event, and it was meant to be for that. But Kurt Angle, knowing that real wrestling fans are on the internet and not watching childish programs, will be aware of his personal issues, that he was unfortunately needed to go to rehab, which I did an article about, and Kurt Angle appreciated my article and retweeted it. He wanted a more fitting event to have his Hall of Fame induction, and this was metaphorically symbolized with his feud with Bobby Roode, which was an awesome feud, if being honest. And again, that shows real wrestling fans were able to appreciate this from TNA. Now, to appreciate why they chose London, while I'm going around, traveling around London and talking to you guys, it's a sign that TNA want to cater for any fans coming to the show. Okay, you may not get the amount of fans that you get at Raw or SmackDown, but the TNA events will make sure that the wrestling fans that do attend will get the best packages possible. Like, okay, we did have The Undertaker. I went to the Raw SmackDown. He's my favourite wrestler of all time. I was so glad to see him on SmackDown, but generally, all the wrestlers that go to a WrestleMania event and then come to a WrestleMania Revenge Tour in London, they do not really feature in the shows in London. However, Kurt Angle and many other wrestlers from TNA would generally do so, except for Jeff Hardy, and you know my views against that from my first ever article written for TNA News. So it just shows appreciation that Kurt Angle and all these wrestlers like Hulk Hogan, what you gonna do? I may have been at WrestleMania 30, but I was part of TNA as well, and coming to the UK after 20 years. Yeah, brother. So you have to appreciate this, and this is why I'm doing this podcast showing around London, that this is the reason why wrestlers are coming here. And this is a respectful thing that we have to appreciate, that wrestlers will make the effort of coming here. Just showing King's Cross, just going here. This is our underground stations there. Oh yeah, by the way, and anyone travelling to the TNA London Impact shows, which I did when it was in February, early February last month, the travel was terrible, but I'm sure that the fake wrestling sites would say, it's all TNA's fault. It's actually someone called Boris Johnson, the mayor, so please do not take away TNA's credit, and do not take away how good the show was due to the catastrophe of the travelling. And I just have to say that thank you for the TNA Impact show to actually make the shows as entertaining as possible, each show for the fans, rather than, and that's why they use a hybrid of WWE and indie shows, because these shows are as good that would be for a pay-per-view caliber. However, that might go against them, but I'm not a businessman here. I've got a different background, and I'm sure most of the wrestling fans do have that as well, like the people of the IWC. If you actually want Dixie and them not to get so much money, and you want to see how much money they get, why aren't you using it for yourself? Simple. So we should just appreciate that the shows are catered for us, and do not worry that if WWE is better. I'm a big WWE fan. I'm always going to love WWE. It's probably my favorite number one company. But I'm always going to be appreciative of TNA being the alternative show to help us wrestling fans get the alternative. Because as we've seen with Botchatista, him getting the high up WrestleMania main event was a joke. I did say it was a good return for him to come back to WWE, and it really is. But it's how you use your tools. And I've always touched on this on TNA, and I think I'm just going to relax a bit more in London, and I'll just go back to it in a few seconds. We're at King's Cross right now, and I thought during the travel I should give you a demonstration of why TNA shouldn't copy WWE. If they do that, the following will happen.
Linda?
Whoa, that sure was a dramatic ending. Was it Falling Skies, episode 1, with Colonel Reaver getting attacked by an alien called the Skitters? All I'm trying to say is that you do not want to see something for family purpose entertainment, and I'm sure in this competitive business that you might get something like an alien trying to attack someone in TNA, for example, at the lockdown event of Team MVP versus Team Rude. You might see an alien, perhaps like I don't know, Abyss's cousin coming to attack everyone, coming to attack Team MVP, or it could, or the ridiculous storyline Jeff Hardy, the Rillo, that might be his cousin. I don't know, or is a Matt Hardy dressed up in disguise, or they're both not from The Grudge, the movie, in this ridiculous storyline, and just that alien comes, attacks everyone, betrays MVP like Austin Aries did to MVP at last week's TNA Impact, and Dixie just gets control and then say makes the alien the new world champion, or he making the new number one contender if Magnus beats Samoa Joe. What I'm just trying to say in this whole podcast that we've done for TNA News, going around London, we should appreciate TNA of what they are, the alternative brand for us wrestling fans. No PG nonsense, just letting us enjoy some classic wrestling entertainment. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys will enjoy the TNA Impact show coming very soon tonight for you guys in America, and for us in the UK, Challenge TV on Sunday. Have fun.